Grimhaven Flats stood tall and imposing. Its weathered brick facade hinted at countless stories whispered within its walls. Amy, drawn to its faded grandeur, rented a flat on the top floor. The building had a strange pull. It was as if the silent, watchful windows held their breath, waiting for her arrival. The air inside was stale, thick with the scent of time and forgotten things. Shadows danced in the corners as Amy explored her new home. There was a palpable history here, a weight that settled upon her shoulders. Despite the building's melancholic aura, Amy felt strangely at peace. The silence was broken only by the creaking floorboards beneath her feet, a symphony of age and secrets. The first thud came after midnight, a heavy, dragging sound from the flat above. Amy lay awake, listening intently. The sound came again, slow and deliberate. Night after night, the thuds continued. They always began after the clock struck 12, echoing through the empty flat above. Amy's curiosity morphed into unease. Who or what could be making those noises at such an hour? She tried to rationalize the sounds. Perhaps it was just the old pipes, or the building settling after years of standing silent, but deep down a seed of fear began to sprout. Mr. Hemlock, the landlord, was a man of few words. When Amy inquired about the noises, he only shook his head. Old building, lots of strange sounds, he muttered, avoiding her gaze. His reluctance only fueled Amy's curiosity. She pressed further, her questions growing bolder. Finally, Mr. Hemlock relented, his voice a hushed whisper. There was a woman years ago, lived in the flat above. Margaret, her name was. One day she just vanished. Vanished? Amy's blood ran cold. The word hung in the air, heavy with unspoken implications. The nightly thuds took on a new, sinister meaning. Was Margaret's disappearance connected to the unsettling noises? Section 4. The Attic's Secrets. Driven by a mixture of fear and morbid fascination, Amy sought answers. She discovered a hidden door concealed behind a tapestry in the hallway. It led to a dusty, forgotten attic. The air was thick with dust and the smell of decay. Cobwebs clung to every surface, and broken furniture lay scattered like fallen soldiers. And there, at the far end of the attic, stood a magnificent mirror, its ornate frame shimmering faintly in the dim light. As Amy approached, she felt an inexplicable pull. The mirror seemed to beckon her closer. Its surface rippled like water disturbed by a gentle breeze. Section 5. Through the looking glass. Hesitantly, Amy reached out to touch the mirror's surface. It was cool to the touch, and as her fingers made contact, a jolt of energy surged through her. The world around her dissolved into a swirling vortex of darkness. When Amy opened her eyes, she was surrounded by shadows. The air was heavy, thick with an oppressive silence. The room was dimly lit by flickering candles, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. She was trapped, pulled through the mirror into a dark, surreal reflection of her own world. A disembodied voice echoed around her, cold and hollow. "Find the key," it whispered, "before the shadows consume you." Section 6. The Shadow Game, the key. The word echoed in Amy's mind, but where to find it in this shadowy labyrinth? The room seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions. Every corner she turned led to another darkened hallway, another room filled with whispering shadows. Time seemed to slip away. Minutes bled into hours as Amy searched desperately for the key. The shadows grew longer, stretching towards her like grasping claws. Panic clawed at her throat. She was trapped, lost in a world of shadows with no escape.